The first scream hit before anyone even saw him. One girl suddenly covered her mouth. Another dropped her phone. Then chaos exploded across the entire airport. Jimin is here. And just like that, Las Vegas stopped feeling like a normal city. Because the moment rumors spread that Jimin had officially arrived ahead of the American Music Awards, thousands of ARMY flooded the airport in pure emotional panic. No one was ready for what happened next. Not security. Not the media. Maybe not even Jimin himself. Because within minutes, the entire atmosphere transformed into something unreal. Purple lights everywhere. Fans crying. People shaking while trying to hold their cameras steady. And through all the noise, one question echoed over and over again. Did you see him? That's how intense the moment became. And honestly, the craziest part hadn't even happened yet. Because once Jimin finally appeared, the entire airport lost control. The rumors had already been spreading all day. BTS was confirmed to attend the AMAs. Excitement online was already reaching dangerous levels. But then reports started circulating that Jimin may have arrived in Las Vegas earlier than expected. At first, fans didn't believe it. Too sudden. Too unbelievable. But then airport insiders began posting cryptic messages. Fans nearby noticed increased security. Some claimed black SUVs had quietly entered restricted areas. Others swore they heard staff whispering BTS members' names. And from that moment forward, everything escalated. Fast. ARMY started gathering outside the airport almost instantly. Some were still wearing merch from recent concerts. Others came directly from work or school after seeing updates online. No one cared about the heat. No one cared about waiting for hours. Because if there was even a small chance of seeing Jimin in person, they were going to stay. And that's exactly what happened. As the crowd grew larger, something emotional started happening. Fans began sharing stories while waiting together. People talked about the first time they discovered BTS. Others replayed concert clips on their phones. Some quietly admitted they'd never seen Jimin in real life before. And honestly, that anticipation created a feeling almost impossible to describe. A strange mixture of nervousness, excitement, and emotional disbelief. Because for many fans, Jimin doesn't feel like an ordinary celebrity. He feels personal, comforting, almost unreal. That's why seeing him in person becomes overwhelming. And deep down, everyone waiting at that airport knew the same thing. If Jimin appears even for a few seconds, this could become a memory they never forget. Then suddenly, movement. Security teams began shifting positions. Airport staff started looking toward one specific entrance. The energy changed instantly. Fans stopped talking. Phones lifted into the air simultaneously. You could actually feel the tension spreading through the crowd. And then someone screamed, "He's coming!" The reaction was immediate insanity. The crowd surged forward emotionally. People grabbed each other's arms. Some fans started crying before even seeing him clearly. Because in moments like this, anticipation becomes overwhelming. Especially when it's Jimin. Then finally, the doors opened. And there he was. Black hoodie. Soft expression. Long strides moving calmly through complete chaos. But somehow, despite the screaming surrounding him, Jimin looked incredibly gentle. That contrast hit people hard. The airport was exploding with noise. Yet he moved with this quiet softness that instantly made fans emotional. And the second he looked up, everything became even worse. Because Jimin smiled. Just a small smile. Tiny. Almost shy. But that single expression completely shattered the crowd emotionally. People screamed louder than before. Phones shook violently in trembling hands. One fan could literally be heard sobbing. "He's so beautiful." And honestly, that reaction spread everywhere. Because seeing Jimin in person feels different from watching videos. Cameras capture his visuals, but they don't fully capture his energy. The warmth, the calmness, the way he notices people in crowds. That's what fans kept talking about afterward. Not just how handsome he looked, but how kind his presence felt. Meanwhile, social media completely exploded. Within minutes, clips of Jimin walking through the airport spread across every platform imaginable. Fans who weren't even in Las Vegas started panicking online. "He's really here. The AMAs are about to be insane. How does he look this perfect after a flight?" And perhaps the most repeated comment of all: "The aura is unreal." That word kept appearing everywhere. Aura. Because somehow Jimin always creates an atmosphere around him that feels impossible to explain logically. Especially in America lately. Every appearance has triggered massive reactions. From Stanford to Tampa to now Las Vegas. The emotional intensity surrounding him keeps growing. And honestly, the airport moment revealed something deeper. This wasn't just excitement about seeing a celebrity.
It was the emotional connection people feel toward Jimin specifically. That's why fans reacted so strongly when he waved softly toward the crowd. It lasted maybe 2 seconds, but the reaction, absolute chaos. One wave. That's all it took. And suddenly thousands of people were screaming like their lives had changed forever. Can you imagine having that kind of impact? Can you imagine making an airport feel like the emotional climax of a movie just by smiling? That's the effect Jimin has. And the craziest part? He often seems genuinely surprised by it himself. Several clips showed him looking slightly shy while hearing the crowd scream his name. Almost like he still hasn't fully processed how deeply loved he is around the world. And honestly, that humility is part of why fans adore him even more. Because despite global fame, despite dominating headlines, despite becoming one of the most recognizable performers on the planet, Jimin still reacts with softness instead of arrogance. That emotional sincerity hits people hard, especially longtime ARMY. As he continued walking through the airport, something unexpected happened. The crowd started singing, softly at first, then louder. Fans began singing BTS songs while waving toward him. And for a brief moment, the chaos transformed into something strangely beautiful. Security guards looked stunned. Airport travelers stopped walking just to watch. Even people unfamiliar with BTS started pulling out phones to record what was happening. Because it no longer felt like ordinary celebrity culture. It felt emotional, human. A shared moment between an artist and the people who genuinely love him. And then came the moment nobody expected. Jimin paused. Just briefly. He turned slightly toward the crowd again. And bowed. A simple bow. But the reaction was devastating. Fans screamed. Some collapsed into tears instantly. Others covered their faces in disbelief. Because that one gesture communicated everything without words. "Thank you. I see you. I appreciate this." And suddenly the airport wasn't chaotic anymore. It felt emotional, almost intimate despite thousands of people being present. That's what makes Jimin different. Even in massive public moments, he somehow creates emotional closeness. And honestly, that's why rumors surrounding his AMA's appearance feel so dangerous right now. Because if a simple airport arrival can create this level of emotional explosion, what happens when he steps onto an actual stage? That question is haunting the entire fandom right now. Especially because speculation keeps intensifying. Some insiders claim BTS is preparing something massive for the AMAs. Others believe Jimin may have a special performance segment. And after seeing the reaction at the airport, fans are even more convinced something unforgettable is coming, because the timing feels too perfect. Jimin arriving in Las Vegas, army flooding the airport, social media already exploding before the event even begins. It feels like the beginning of something much bigger. And deep down, everyone senses it. Meanwhile, inside the fandom, emotions are becoming increasingly intense. Fans are revisiting older AMA performances, remembering how emotional BTS looked during previous appearances, reflecting on how far they've come, and perhaps most importantly, realizing how much Jimin has evolved over the years. He's no longer just a beloved idol. He's become a global phenomenon. An artist whose mere arrival shuts down airports emotionally. An artist whose smile creates worldwide headlines. An artist whose presence alone can make thousands of strangers cry simultaneously. That level of emotional impact is rare, and watching it happen in real time feels surreal. Especially in America, where public reactions to Jimin have become increasingly dramatic. People who previously knew little about BTS are suddenly becoming fascinated by him. Concert attendees leave stunned by his stage presence. Casual viewers become emotional after seeing a single performance clip. And now Las Vegas has witnessed the same phenomenon firsthand. Which brings us back to the biggest question of all. What exactly is coming next? Because if the airport reaction was this explosive, what happens at the AMAs? Will Jimin perform? Will BTS reveal something unexpected? Will another legendary moment happen that fans replay for years? Nobody knows yet. And honestly, that uncertainty is making the excitement even more addictive. As night fell over Las Vegas, fans still remained outside the airport long after Jimin had left. Some simply sat together, replaying videos repeatedly. Others laughed through tears while trying to process what they had experienced. And perhaps the most emotional thing overheard that night came from one quiet fan who whispered, "He looked tired, but he still smiled for us." That sentence alone explains why Jimin is loved so deeply worldwide. Because even during exhausting schedules, even under overwhelming pressure, he still finds small ways to comfort fans emotionally. A smile, a wave, a bow. Simple gestures that somehow mean everything. And now, with the AMAs only days away, anticipation has reached another level entirely. Because after witnessing Las Vegas react like this before the event even begins, the entire world is wondering the same thing. What happens when Jimin finally takes the stage? Honestly, something unforgettable probably awaits us. So tell me this. If Jimin performs at the AMAs, what kind of moment are you hoping to see most? A powerful dance stage? An emotional vocal performance? Or maybe a legendary BTS moment that breaks the internet forever? Tell me in the comments. And if you're already emotional watching Jimin arrive in Las Vegas ahead of the AMAs, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unforgettable BTS and Jimin moments that truly deserve to be remembered forever.